We got you another Wirecast tutorial. Today we're taking a look at Titler Live and the NDI receiver. Of course, Titler Live is a program from NewBlueFX. Gives you great titles like this one or this lower third right here, and it comes free with Wirecast. And of course, it's the basic version, and so you can upgrade to other versions. I have the advanced version, and then of course the elite version, which has everything. And of course, you can go to NewBlueFX for all the prizes and stuff like that. But let's say you're creating something and you're doing like one-on-one interviews. Maybe you're doing, you're recording in your church, or maybe you're recording a band or something like that. You're doing some switching back and forth. You have your cameras set up. You got 2-3 cameras set up going into the computer. You've got your titles, and you actually got the Titler Live, which you can install on the computer. Well, let's say you have like 2 or 3 people. Well, when you get into a production team, you know, in Wirecast before, it was basically you had to set up the scene with all the information before you started it, or else it was just a big pain to try and change anything while you were actually in record mode. So by doing this, you can actually put this information or this program onto another computer and let the IP address pull the information over. It's part of the NDI program from NewTek. It's a great little program. You can download it and add more stuff to it, and work through the protocol. There's an SDK and everything like that. You can check that out over at ndi.newtek.com, I believe is the URL. But before we get into anything, first of all, want to let you know, if you don't have your copy of Wirecast, go over to geekazine.com/Wirecast. And of course, you can get your copy, Windows or Mac. You have it there. We're running on Windows, but I also have a copy for my Mac, so you can get that. And of course, that helps me keep the lights on with this affiliate code right now. And of course, if you just want to tip me, go over to paypal.me/Jeff Powers and throw down a couple dollars. I appreciate it much. So, all right, that out of the way, let's go in here. Let's go to my Wirecast first of all. This is my active Wirecast, as you can see the repetitive window right here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to create the NDI. Now, in order to do that, you have to install it onto the other computer. So I have on my other computer, I have the Titler Live from NewBlueFX. As you can see, all set up. I have a few scenes set up. I'll show you a little bit more about that as we go here. But I need to set this up on here. Before we do this, just want to let you know, hey, you know, this takes process. Now, this is an i5 laptop, a couple years old, and it's running pretty well. I should probably put it on my newer machine because it is a faster processor, but this is handling it. Better graphics on that one as opposed to this one. But I wanted to show you that, you know, you don't need the fastest computer. Older computers can handle it. Don't get too old. If you've got something like maybe 4 or 5 years old, you might want to think about if it'll work. Do some tests before you do anything. But anyway, with that said, we'll go back here and we'll set this up. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go right to one of the plus buttons. We'll do it on the second master layer, and then we're going to choose Titler Live NDI receiver. That opens this little box up right here. And of course, I've already created these receivers. So we've got the NewBlue Titler NDI receiver 1, and we've got it on my computer, which I call it Tool 1, and I'll hit refresh just to make sure everything's connected, and we'll hit OK. That creates this little puppy right here. So now I set up my live bug. If I do this, I press this. As you can see, now I've got a title going through, and this is actually going through the other computer, as opposed to my main computer, which is running the camera and running the side bug right here, stuff like that. So what this does is this allows somebody else to actually run the titles, or yourself to run the titles just separately. So let's do this again. Let's create another one really quick. We'll go back here. We'll go to the plus, and we'll do title, because you can do it on different layers, and so you can have more than one here. So we're going to create a new one, and we're going to call that receiver 2. Now I have the second one set up, and I'm going to show you what this means in a second here. And I'll hit refresh, and we'll set OK. And now I've got my second one here. So now if I go over here and I press this button, 2 computers, no waiting. This is something I mixed up really quick. So, but anyway, the whole idea is simply that now you've got all these titles set up and you're ready to go. How did that work? Now, I have, like I said, I have 2 areas for that. Certain titles set up in areas, and I'll show you this really quick. So basically, let's go over here. We're at the Titler Live, and as you can see, there is a 01 and a 02 right here. These are tabs that you have, and of course you can rename them. I just left them at 01, 02. And within here, you can actually take all of your lower thirds, all of your graphics and stuff like that, and bring them over here. Now, once again, I have the advanced version of Titler Live, which means I have some packs that you probably won't see, some lower thirds you don't see if you have the basic version. So, but I have this set up. I have this one set up, this bullseye. I have some lower thirds set up, and as you can see, they're all here. And if I hit these little arrows right here, you will see them activate. I can change the information here. Like, for instance, this live bug, if I hit this, you're going to see the live bug. And then I can close it out. I could come in here and I could say, yes, we're live. And then it's going to take a second to process. With that green line coming to full, we can hit this button again. And now we're going to say, yes, we're live. And then close from here. We have a thumbtack option right here, which means if I put this thumbtack down and I press this button, it's going to stay on indefinitely. And I can run some of these other graphics that I've created, like for instance, my lower third. And as you can see, the live stayed there. Or this one that I created, as you saw, the lower third disappeared, whereas Geek Winner showed up. And then I'll close that out. But if I take that thumbtack out and I change over here, the live graphic disappears. Comes back. So you can set this up. That's just simply on one tab. So you can do a whole bunch of stuff. Now, the second tab, and I've got to go over here on here. So that's going to disappear because I just switched it over. We're now on the second tab. That was that second NewBlue titler that I created. So now we can add different types of titles. And in this case, I created a lot of titles that did flashy things. Like, for instance, this one right here. Don't believe it? Yes, it's true. And you can add those in there as the second tab. Here's another one that I did where it shows the geek weather. Let's show the geek weather for today. Today is kind of cloudy. Today, and of course you can create your own graphics. Maybe you create a weather map. And you can bring in storm clouds. You can bring in everything else. I could put down a weather map straight here, or use the titler on the main computer to create the weather map, and then have this create the clouds and stuff like that. And of course, you go through the Titler Live editor program to change all of this stuff up here. But that's in the way, so let's move this out. And as you can see, the graphics are there, and it's on another computer. And of course, you can change everything right there. So if you have somebody dedicated to creating titles, creating information in there, then they can go from title to title to title as they're getting one ready to go, the other one's running, and go from there. And if you get multiple versions of Titler Live, you'll need to get more licenses, of course. You could probably have 2 or 3 people working on different titles, and if you're really getting intense with putting graphics up on the page. But anyway, let's get back here. So anyway, so you have basically the Titler Live. You could create the tabs. You simply create a tab by hitting the plus button there, and it creates a new tab. As you can see, there's 3. You get the basic text here, which was my lower third, and I can move that around if it's not in the right place, and I can put on, like, let's put in here, right here, this reload, and there we've got this in here. I can change that if I wanted to. And then when it's time to bring it over to the computer, all I have to do is come over here, hit one of the plus buttons and say Titler Live NDI receiver. And I say a new one, receiver 3. In this case, we're going to go to tool 3 and we're going to hit OK. And now that's going to be active. We'll go back over here. And as you can see, well, it's already active, as you can see. And I'm just going to hit this button right here. It's reload, lock in, head out. And then I can bring the graphics back here, and then I can close this out. You can have it set up so it fades in, fades out, And like I said, with the pin, you can pin in the live reload as long as the scene is open in that area. So I have these all on the same layer, but you can actually layer it into 3 different master layers and have them run separately and have different graphics go throughout. It's crazy what you can do with this program. It's amazing, and it's all done, like I said, through different computers. Now, one thing you do have to watch out for, I noticed it does take a little bit more process to push it over here. Now you're saying, well, how does that help? But on the other hand, I also have Tidler Live installed on here and running titles here. So it's expecting it from this computer. It's also expecting it from the other computer, which will take more process. I have a good graphics card in there. It's an R9 280 at 8 gigabytes, an 8350 processor, all from AMD. So it should be able to handle it, even though the system CPU does show a little bit over the numbers here. So you're gonna have to watch some things. You might have to lower down your resolution, maybe lower down your bit rate or something like that. So maybe go in 720, because this will work. Whereas I'm hitting high numbers here, when I'm in 720 mode, that's going to cut it in half, and it's going to look a lot better. And of course, you won't see the frame jarring that you might be seeing from time to time through here. So basically, that's it. That is how you do it. You can install Tidler Live onto 2 computers. So you can install it on your second computer, and you can use that to bounce onto your main computer and then have somebody else run titles. If they're on the same segment, I could see somebody in a different city basically VPNing into your router and running the titles from there. So they don't need to be in the same building, as long as you understand there might be a little bit of latency going on there as they switch from title to title. If that's not a big deal, then you're good to go. So anyway, that's it. That basic in a nutshell, the Tidler Live, the NDI. Now NDI, once again, is something that NewTek came out with. It's the ability to do different things on one computer to push over to another computer. And the best part about Tidler Live is if you run more than Wirecast, you might be able to use this software onto your other program. Like for instance, if you have a TriCaster, definitely can use the Tidler Live software. If you've got an ATEM, you can definitely use the Tidler Live software, depending on the version of ATEM you have. So you've got all this functionality that now can work from another computer, so you can have another person run your titles. So you don't have to stress out doing the one-man job, even though I'm doing that right now. So anyway, that's it for that. If you want to check everything out, go over to Geekazine.com. That's my name, Jeffrey Powers. This has been another tutorial, a Wirecast tutorial called the Tidler Live NDI Receiver. You can check out everything over at Geekazine. Thanks a lot for watching. You guys geek out and take care.